Welcome to Heber Valley Life podcast, where we highlight the people, projects, and passions shaping our mountain community. Today, I'm excited to sit down with Pastor Shane Finley, lead pastor at the Mountain View Fellowship Church. It's been fun to do some research on you, Shane, and to kind of understand your background and where you came from. But I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, both professionally and personally. Share a little bit about your work and your family and what drives you on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. So work and family. I have 5 kids, 3 of them adults, married. I have 5 grandkids now, which is exciting. And then we have 2 kids at home. One's 14 and moving in high school. One just graduated from high school. So
Fun time in life.
yeah, my wife and I have been married for 36 years. Congratulations. So yeah, that's a lot. And she's a swim instructor, and has her own swim uh, instructing business called Swim for Life, and does really well with that. And then as far as the church, yeah, we started Mountain View Fellowship Church, which we kind of shortened to call MVF a lot, just because the name is cumbersome. Um, and we started it in 2008, and it's just been a great. Honestly, it's probably we talk all the time. We love doing ministry here. We love this area. We're just so thrilled to live in Heber, and it's been a great place to raise our kids and a great place to be in ministry, and we really enjoyed it. And it's just been a blessing all the way around. So I don't know if you want to know more about the church.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I want to give a shout out to Tanya, though, because I want to give her credit for really strengthening the swim program in this valley. Right now, we've got state champions, region champs, and I really do think it's because she laid the groundwork when you first arrived to make swimming cool and really just brought families in and made sure that it wasn't just individuals, that it really was a group sport, which is unique in swimming because it is an individual sport. But she had that ability to bring people together. And I saw that flourish when you guys arrived and when Tanya got in the water and got with those kids. And so I just want to make sure we recognize the work that she's been doing independently growing the church, which I think was a stronghold for our community.
Yeah. Yeah, and she has a passion for swimming. I used to joke with the whole time, "Hey, we moved here to plant a church, not plant a swim team." Because yeah, so
But she's done it all.
Yeah, and we did both. Yeah, but she was very involved for she was the head coach of the age group swimming for years, and then also under Marsing, Stephen Marsing, for high school. So yeah.
And leading Wasatch High School to several
A lot of championships.
awards. Yeah. Well, we do have you here to talk about Mountain View Fellowship Church, and it's just been really impressive to see the church grow. It's now a vibrant, non-denominational Christian church, evangelical church. But I've been impressed with the work that you've done and the people that you've brought into your congregation. I see as leaders in our community. They're volunteering, they're reaching out. There's a lot of love there. So what has been what's the common denominator there? Is it you?
No, I mean, I definitely have a vision for people. I think oftentimes people that go to a church, they care about their church, but the community doesn't see that their church cares about the community. And so our goal has very much been to be a church that right away try to show that we care about the community. And churches are always, not always, but oftentimes kind of like, we need this or we need that, and and which we do, but they're not giving back to the community. And so that definitely is something that's part of the vision, which I've always impressed. But we really do have a lot of great people, and I've always been surrounded by great people. And God just really blessed us in that.
I love on your website, you've got a simple mission. And that is whether you're just beginning to explore your faith or have been a follower of Christ for years, Mountain View Fellowship Church is the place where all are welcome.
Mm.
And, our community was settled by the Mormon pioneers.
Yeah.
Was very much a stronghold in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So what made you want to come and start a church in the Wasatch Back and here in Heber Valley? What was kind of the beginning of the journey for your congregation?
Well, I had a friend who was when I knew I just really believed God was calling me to plant a congregation in an area where there was one needed. And I had a friend who convinced me to come up and look at Heber, and that's kind of a longer story, but I ended up doing it and fell in love with the valley. I mean, it's a beautiful place to live. Fell in love with the community. I grew up in a neighborhood where most of my good friends were LDS Mormons, and so I just was very comfortable with that. Um, and saw a huge need in that outside of the Mormon faith, there just really wasn't anything else. I hate to say, hesitate to say anything else because there were two small congregations on either end of the north and south of the valley, but not a lot, and just really saw a need for it.
Yes. And you meet on Sundays.
Yeah,
You've got 9:30,
we have a 9:30 and an 11.
and then Wednesdays are your youth programs.
Yeah, Wednesday is well, actually now Wednesday is our junior high program because we've grown to a point where we really wanted to separate. You got a 17-year-old and then a 12-year-old. They're totally under boy. We have a high school program that meets on Sunday evenings and with junior high program that meets on Wednesday evenings.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you started this meeting in your basement.
Yeah.
Then I remember the clock tower building. You used to meet there, but now you've got this beautiful sanctuary on 600 West. How did that happen? How did you go from folding chairs in the basement to 500 strong now?
Well, when we moved here, we started talking about what we were doing with people and inviting them to a Bible study. Really, is what it was. It was just like, hey, would you want to open up and study the Bible? And we started getting more and more people within a few months. We had outgrown our house, so we had actually then moved where we had the adults upstairs and the kids downstairs, and that was too big. We ended up moving to what's now, I think it's called Wasatch Crest, a recovery center,
Okay.
but it was a kind of a bed and breakfast. Um, and we ended up moving up there. We outgrew that dining hall. And then we moved to the clock tower. Mike Peterson was great with working with us. And Mike's always been a big advocate of the church and helped us in many ways. He was a great landlord. And we were there for a few years. And did once again just continued to do well. And as far as reaching the community, we were like very involved. And then we had a realtor who showed us this property, and it had a home on it that was in foreclosure. And the home was very oddly built. It was kind of built in a such a way where we were like, hey, somebody built us a church.
Right. I remember that. And it's interesting because that building was set off 600 West,
Yeah.
out in the field with an amazing view of Timpanogos, but did have that big open room,
Yeah.
perfect for a sanctuary.
Yep.
And I was really pleased when Mountain View Fellowship Church took over that property because it just felt right. It felt like a place that you could grow your community. It felt like all the pieces fell in place for you.
Yeah. So it was, and the price we got on it. Yeah, I remember telling our leadership team like, hey, if we don't buy this as a church, I'm gonna buy it because it's just too beautiful of a property, and we got a great price on it, and we did all the work ourselves to renovate it, and we continued to grow there. COVID was hit us really hard, and unfortunately, we had literally just started building the new worship center when COVID hit, and so that was a huge blow. But God's been faithful, and we've continued to grow through that, and now we have the new worship center.
And your proximity to the new Deer Creek High School, will that change anything with your youth programs, the ability for them to?
Well, we're really hoping it grows it and helps. So we actually sold 5 acres to the high school. And the main reason we did was we just felt like, you know what, it'd be an awesome opportunity for us to be near the high school. There's so many kids, high school is such a tough time. It is one of everyone, parents always go like, these are the best years of your life. And I'm like, you don't remember growing up. If you think,
Well, you survived middle school. You hope that you thrive in high school, but there's so many stumbling blocks. So many kids struggle. And so I was interested in, it's so great. The LDS faith have their seminary buildings, but I was curious with you having the sanctuary right there.
so
Will you open it up for the high school?
absolutely. So we actually put a cafe in our worship center, not in the worship center, but in the building specifically because we want to be open during the week
Right.
and offer, kind of lunch deals and that kind of thing so kids can come over. And then we will probably start a Bible study during, we're going to take advantage of the release time education and do that during school hours for kids that want that. But then we'd like to have some after school programs, some things that things that kids can come do. But also after sporting events, we'd like to, in California, where we call them fifth quarters.
Yeah.
And after the sporting event, we'd invite kids over for, cheap pizza and sodas and a bunch of games that can be, they can play and play the music and do the whole thing and just kind of a safe place for kids to still hang out and they stuff.
Youth center that we really don't have right now. It's labor after here.
Yeah. So that's definitely.
And high school kids don't want to be taken care of. They do want to congregate.
Yeah.
And they need a safe place.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
Love it. Yep. Well, what sets Mountain View Fellowship Church apart from other churches?
That's a tough, I think every church has a uniqueness to it, even churches within the same denomination or we still will have little differences based on leadership, based on location, based on all these things. But I think that what you read is part of our vision, that the idea that we recognize, we believe everyone's on a spiritual journey. Oftentimes you don't even know you're on a spiritual journey. But then once you recognize that, we want people to know this is a safe place for you to discover what God has for you. You can ask whatever questions you want. You can come in doubting, you can come in hating, you can come in angry, you can come in feeling defeated, feeling trauma from your past, whatever it is. And we want to walk with you through that. And, we really encourage our people who would say they're deeper in their faith to say, hey, look, if you're here, what we always say is you're a host, you're not the guest. The guest is the person who's hurting or scared. Walking into a church for the first time is one of the scariest things in the world. Or even worse, walking into a church if you were hurt 5 years ago, 10 years ago for the first time. And so we try to tell everybody that, hey, look, if you're here and you've been here for a while, you consider yourself a Christian, when you walk through these doors, you're here as one of the hosts. And your goal is to make that guest feel welcomed and feel comfortable. And be more open to God when they leave than they were when they walked in. And so I would say that's just
a huge number of sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do find that with your membership. They are very open, they're very Christ-like, they're happy. And I do think that's some of the draw. And themselves available. We talked earlier about this love versus obedience. And so often people leave their faith because they feel chained up.
Yep.
They feel like the rules are too strict. And you mentioned earlier that love comes first.
Yep.
And through that the obedience comes because you feel the love. Mm-hmm. And I do feel that with your members. So I think you've done a great job.
Perfect.
Preaching that, teaching that, and mentoring that.
Yeah. I will say one big difference from us that I know a lot of people that walk into our church for the first time. I've had people call us the rock and roll church.
Oh, okay.
So another big difference is we have a full band, sometimes 2 guitarists, we have keyboards, drums. So it's very much more expressive probably than I would say any of the other churches in the valley. Uh, so that would be one. And then one other thing is and I'm not saying other churches don't have this, but it's probably one of our values is fun. We have fun even on our Sunday
But I think
services.
that reflects you.
Yeah.
I think you bring the fun, the happiness, the let's embrace life.
Yeah.
It's just come about. Yes, yes, it is. And Sarah Hall,
Yes,
music
Yeah.
leader, and she's going to be performing on our Soulful Sunday Boys.
Yeah.
So I love that she and I kind of connected, and she said, "Yeah, we want to bring that spirit to the park."
Yeah.
And so we're very excited to have her.
Yeah,
Of
we're
course,
excited to
let's
do
talk about your the leadership team that you put up.
Okay.
You've brought in. You've got some shepherds that oversee the board
Yeah.
and the guidance and the financial aspect of the church. You've got different ministry, youth minister. You've got Sarah Hall over the music.
Yep.
Tell me how that works. You've got youth, music, all these
Yeah.
things, all these components happening.
So some people, especially if they're not familiar with evangelicalism, kind of have a misnomer that like pastors are in charge of the church and pastors kind of figure out how much money they're going to make or whatever. So it's not like that at all. We have a board. And
I think Footloose maybe have helped to hurt you. I don't know that.
there's been a few movies that have involved in
So music, dancing.
So,
Okay.
So we have a volunteer team that rotates. They don't rotate completely, but each person who serves on it serves anywhere from 3 to it's supposed to be 5. Sometimes it'll be 6, just because we've had a hard time. Sometimes as we are growing and getting uh, established, getting people to be on that level to leadership. But 3 to 6 years, they serve on that. And they do everything from set the budgets, which also means set the salaries. They decide how much people make. Um, they they oversee me. Like if I say something from the stage, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and then just the overall direction. That team is the guiding team.
Okay.
Then we have staff, and the staff all they serve directly. The rest of the staff serves directly under me, but then since I'm accountable and under them, technically they serve.
Good checks and balances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Staff is just there's certain roles that they get to a place where, hey, this is no longer even a 10-hour a week volunteer. This is a 20-hour a week volunteer or more.
Which is great because I need to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And as they get to that place, if there's money in the budget, we'll try to compensate, and then sometimes bring those people on to a point where they're full time eventually.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah.
It's great to see how it really is this checks and balance, but it's also collaborative.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Let's talk about the Global Leadership Conference.
Yeah.
Coming up, you're hosting. Tell me about it. Why should people attend August 7th and 8th?
August 7th and 8th. It is $150. It's that none of that goes to us. It goes to this is a nationwide syndicated event. It goes to that. I will say, if anyone who's a teacher or first responder of any kind, it's half of that.
Oh, great.
And not just teacher, anyone who works for the school district, city bidding anyway. And then right now I think we have like 70 something people. About half are from the church, half are not. But the speakers are just every year they're the top of the line nationwide speakers on leadership. So it really has nothing to do with faith unless you've read much leadership stuff. You know that most good leadership principles are in the Bible. So a lot of them won't even mention the Bible, but it's there. But John Maxwell is one. Coach Nick Saban is one. There's some other people. I'd have to look them up.
Yeah.
But there's usually about 10 speakers that take up the day, and it's always just top.
It's kind of the sharpening your saw.
Yep.
If you're looking to relaunch your new school year with some new ideas, and if you're feeling stuck, this is a good way to.
Yeah, it's a great way to kind of reboot yourself, get some great ideas, refresh yourself if you are a leader. And I always say everyone's a leader at some point. Like if you've raised kids, you're a leader, whether or not you wanted to say that or not.
And depending on where you are in that parenting journey, we talked about we're kind of at the tail end, but it never ends.
Yeah.
I think I look at parents of younger kids and think, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. And I hate that I'm at that stage, but it is fun. And, I don't have grandkids yet. So you get to restart as grandparent.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yep, you do. And you do go, yeah, don't worry. It'll be all right.
Don't sweat this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the youth and the family programs because I do find that your congregation is strong because of those programs. Talk to me about what you do to support the families. We talked a little bit about the youth programs. Let's dive into those a little bit deeper. Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. Just tell me what people would expect if they walked in and said, look, my family is struggling right now. What are the tools that you can give me? Not just spiritually, but temporally that are going to help me get through this hard spot.
Well, we fully believe, I mean, this is a family area. So we knew, hey, right from the start, we've got to have a strong program for the whole family. And so Zana Leachman is our children's director, and she is amazing. She off the charts. Before that, we had Michelle Burchart, was great for years. She actually serves as our admin now. But so we've always had a great kids program. And so when you come on a Sunday morning, we encourage, and they don't have to, but to take the children to their program because they have Bible teaching that is by trained leaders at their level, that they're going to get something out of, they're going to have fun, and then as parents, then they go home afterwards and talk to them about it. We have parent resources that you get to help you do that. We have what VBS, it's called Vacation Bible School, that we do during the summer.
Right.
They get love it. I mean, they have so much fun with that. It always ends with a pie in my face at the end because they raise money. And then but they also learn a lot. And then, so that's kind of our children's thing. And then like she has things where all summer they do popsicles in the park where moms or parents just go with the kids and just kind of have connection, community, things like that. And then, with the youth, same thing. We just really believe, like I said, I was a youth minister for about 15 years before I came here. And so I have a real heart and passion for teens. I think it's a hard age, and it can be a lot of fun. They're a blast to work with. We have a great team of people who have done that over the years. Right now, our current leaders are a couple named Cole and Josh Little, and they're doing awesome with that. Plus, a whole team around them. So that's kind of been that's a little bit about what we have for all of them. And then we also have men's and women's programs, and we have parenting classes and all.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the daddy-daughter dance.
Yeah.
So this kind of has become a thing in our community, not just for your members. It's open to anyone.
Yeah.
And I love that it's putting the emphasis back on the relationship between dads and daughters. I remember as a kid going to daddy-daughter dance and have some great pictures of it. But why is it so meaningful? Why is all of a sudden people are like, hey, this is a chance for dad to get dressed up and maybe give his daughter a little bit extra attention?
Well, a quick story to show why it is so the reason we do it here is we did it at the church that I was at in California that I took my daughters to when they started turning 4 and up. And we moved here and we were too small. We didn't have the resources to put it on. We didn't have a place to put it on, all that. Once we got big enough, my daughter, who is now 28 and she's a sheriff's deputy in Florida, I can't remember how old she was, but she was like, Dad, these girls need that. Can we do that here? And so she pretty much, we wouldn't be doing it if she didn't kind of press it. And
Which means it was important.
it was important to her. It was so that time she got to have just one-on-one with me, and and then her sister came in and ruined it for. I'm just kidding, but that was so important to her. So we started putting it on with her, kind of taking the helm on it, and I think she was like 17, and then people got behind it. And what's cool now is now my son leads this one, and I get to watch him take his 6-year-old and 4-year-old, and but what's really cool is they come all the way to like my 17-year-old was comes. So all the way up they come. And I just think I think the father relationship is so important with both sons and daughters. But we oftentimes, dads don't take that time to remind their daughters how important they are, remind them that they're beautiful, remind them that they're valuable, and grow up in a culture where a lot of that stuff is beat out of you, and so I think it's just value. Most of the moms see the value in it. And, a lot of the dads kind of have to be coerced into doing it at first, but I've had so many conversations with dads who, once they do it, they're just so thrilled they did. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we make it a lot of, so we it's not just like you show up and hopefully you have fun. It's, we do limbo, and we do games where we make the dads get up and make fools of themselves in front of the girls, and they love that. And then there's like 4 dances that you do that, if you're not going to cry to those songs, then something's wrong with you. And then they do the fun dancing around closet. And we have a full DJ, brings the lights and the smoke and the whole deal. So
That is so great. Okay, another program you have is the Lift program. You have ladies in fellowship together.
Yeah.
And I can see this as an opportunity for the women to get together. But what I've heard is the spring tea has become something very special.
Yeah.
And it's also a way that these women are supporting each other through crisis, but also through just the monotony of every day being a mom and raising kids. But tell me about that program.
Well, that was started once again by just volunteers with a heart, to do something. And it's once a month, and it's kind of not quite once a month now. We kept a couple seasons where they take off a month here and there. Um, Boom, but yeah, it's pretty much exactly what you just said. It's a way, very low key, other than the tea. Very just show up, already there's always a speaker, um, uh, support each other, some food, and hopefully maybe you build some relationships to take it further from that, no pressure. So people do bring a lot of their friends for that. Another one we have that I also am a big fan of is called Monco, and that is specifically for moms.
Right.
And that they meet during the week, and they same thing, just run by a team of volunteers, and that is specifically used to be called MOPS, Mothers of Preschoolers,
Right.
and it's a nationwide ministry that we do, but they just noticed that moms don't want to leave just because their kids are out of preschool,
Right.
and so now it's just Monco, and it's support. I mean, being a parent is tough, so it's a lot of support.
I love this idea that Mount Booth Fellowship Church embraces the idea of being the church, not just attending, but be the church. Talk to me about how you've been able to instill that feeling of, oh, you just don't show up and leave, that this is something that you do inside the sanctuary, outside the sanctuary, at school, at the grocery store. How have you been able to instill that, be the church in your congregation?
Well, a lot of it is we talk a lot about the fact that we're the body of Christ. The Bible is very clear that the church is not a building. The church is, once you give your life to Christ, you are part of the church. You are either, I give the analogy, right? If my finger is sprained, the rest of my body can be in good shape, but if my finger's sprained, it disables my body, even that one small part.
Yeah.
And so we're all a member of the body of Christ. It's just a matter, are you a good member? Are you a hindering member, or are you someone who's helping the body? And so we talk a lot about that. So one, it's just innate in what we deal with. But then we seek to do a lot of stuff that kind of encourages people in that. We actually for years, and we're thinking about bringing it back, did a day where we say be the church. We cancel services, and we work with the community to find, hey, what are things we can do to help the community, and we send out 100 or so adults into the community to serve rather than go to a service.
Yeah.
And then now we're connecting. The last couple of years, we've been pushing more than 9/11 day service. We thought, let's just connect with the community and do. We don't get as much participation because it's not on Sunday,
Right.
so
Maybe day of service needs to be Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
So this
maybe.
year it's September 13th.
Yeah.
I'm overseeing a couple projects, so maybe we can talk, and
Yeah.
I could use some volunteers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that so we'll definitely keep doing that, but we might bring it back and do both. So
Yeah. Just, I'm curious, how has the new building enhanced your ability to lead this congregation? What changes have you seen because you have this permanent home?
well, one, it gave us room to grow. We were kind of at a sticking point with where we were. So the old building we now have turned into fully for children. Our children we had way too many kids. If you're a fire marshal, don't listen to this. We had way too many children in a small area. Now they have the whole building
Wow.
to do the kids ministry. So that just helps in itself because the kids are able to be separated enough to really get age appropriate lessons better, and just have more fun to roll out. Um, so that has helped. It's really helped our ministries for kids, but it's also doubled the size of our worship center. So, where we could only fit about 125 per service before, and that was crammed. Now we can fit about 250 to 270 per service if you need to. And we're actually looking, and we might get to start third service in the winter. So it's enabled us to do that. It's enabled us, our worship music I talked about. It's a pretty full. It, we didn't have it. We had that, but it just didn't have the punch that it has now.
Right.
And then also just opening up to the community. Like we opened up to, I can't remember the name of the preschool, but for them to do a big production.
Okay.
We opened up for them because it has a full stage. So
Wow.
so if anyone is interested in doing a production, let us know, because we have a full stage, full sound, full light. We do have to charge enough to at least cover the people. We have to have run all that, but outside of that, and then so just we're hoping gives us more room to bless the community and be a part of the community as well. So
I love that. So what's your vision for as Heber grows? How do you see Mountain View Fellowship Church growing? Where do you want to take it personally? And what do you hope to see evolve as your congregation need change?
well, I mean, so we have a tagline that says "Meet Jesus, live free."
Mm.
And the idea is that we want everyone to meet Jesus, grow in a relationship with Him, so they can find freedom in Him. And that's really what it comes down to. And so, as the community changes and its needs change, we are willing to evolve. However, as long as we have the ability and we keep in the center preaching the good news to people and letting people know that they're saved through the work of Jesus. And so that, like when we first started, we used to do a thing called Here Comes Santa, because we noticed there was no Santa Claus in town. And so, there were a lot of families with single cars, or they just didn't have a way to get to us. So we started Here Comes Santa, and we had a big night where you could get a professional photo with a professional Santa. It was all free. And it was but eventually the other people started doing Santa Clauses in town, and that just wasn't a need. So we stopped doing that. And we, you know, so our, like, it's just we'll do whatever it takes. I always say I'll stand in front of everyone and stand on my head and spit water in my mouth if it'll help someone come to know Jesus. And so whatever that takes, that's what we want to do. And um so yeah, I mean, right now our big thing is the high school. I think we're just looking and going, okay, God, how can we bless the faculty, the staff, the students, how can we come alongside that? We feel like God kind of put that in our lap, and we want to be there to do whatever we can.
Yeah. Shane, you've been so impressive your whole career. What drives you? What's your calling to serve?
So I didn't grow up in faith. I would say I grew up around faith, but not in it. My grandparents would take me to church. My parents, it's a long story. Um, my stepmom would take me to church. So I was around church, but no one really impressed on me faith. Um, and so I was kind of in and out of it and never really understood why. It was fun. I went to some fun things at church. In high school, started going because we were girls, but so met my wife because of that. But I didn't give my life to Christ until I was 19, and it really just changed my life. And so I just have a heart for. I think there are so many people that they have this innate knowledge that there's a God, you know, um, and yet they don't get that He is a personal God that wants to know them. And I believe when you understand that, and then you also understand that not only does this God want to know you, He wants to know you, and He loves you so much that He came and became one of us and died on the cross for us. He did what you cannot do. He did the work that just changes everything. And so I just have a heart. Some pastors are more theologians, some are more, whatever. I'm an evangelist. I want to see people find freedom in Christ and be set free from. I've seen people be set free from addictions, from adulterous relationships, from just anxiety and fears and all of it. And I just want to see more people experience that.
And I think you emulate that in your countenance and your actions and the way that you raised your family, brought additional family members in that needed your love. And you really have built a community based on love and acceptance. And okay, so I appreciate your example. And like I said, even though we have not personally interacted much, I have observed for the last 15 years what you've done in the community. And I just think we really are blessed to have your leadership and your spiritual guidance. And I think your community that you've created represents that so well.
Oh, thanks. That's the greatest of compliments. So thank you.
Yes. So we are wrapping up and grateful for your time and the work that you're doing. I hope that people will learn more about Mount View Fellowship Church. You've got a great website and the sanctuary on 600 West, available Sunday mornings, 9:30 and 11. But if you've got a kid that you're struggling with, send them to Pastor Shane.
No. And I will say, if you are interested in finding out, mvfchurch.com. That's our website.
Yeah,
so
perfect. Well, Rachel Kahler, I'm the executive director of the Community Alliance for Main Street, but I'm also someone that cares about this community and loves to bring people in and learn about what the difference that you're making. So Shane, I appreciate the work you're doing. And with that, we're going to sign off and hopefully we'll see you around town.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah,
And
we will.
thank you for serving our community.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Thanks so much. Signing off.